Bomb cyclone, atmospheric river, pineapple express? Until recently, I'd never heard of these expressions. Well, what the heck is it? Well, that is what we will try to find out. Okay, so enough of the William Shatner euphemisms. What we really want to know is what would it be like to fly through this storm? So I did just that yesterday at the height of the storm, flying IFR from Chino to Long Beach. So we're flying the Beech Baron today, and we're utilizing the G1000 avionics suite, which is my favorite. First things first, we're setting the navigation frequency, Nav1 frequencies, to tune into the ILS at Long Beach. Frequency is 110.3. Excuse me. Then the next thing that I usually do is put in my altitude that I want to fly at, and I wanted to stay kind of low. I don't think I could get on top of this, so I'm just setting it up to 7,000 feet. So we're just going to fly right through the crux of the storm. Then moving from, and you can see that I'm just turning the knob on my Bravo quadrant to set the altitude. And then I will set the flight level change to be at VY, which I believe is like 105 on this airplane. And same thing, I'll use my Bravo knob to make that change. Moving now over to the PDF, I'm setting up my approach into Long Beach. I believe we're coming into runway 30, and I'm using the MIDS transition. Okay, now that I have my heading bug set where I want it, and we've got our altitude set and our flight level change speed set, we've programmed in our approach, we are about ready to take off. So obviously under these conditions, no way would we be flying in this weather. And the procedures that I will use for this flight may or may not be exactly the right way to do things, but for the most part, I just wanted to fly through this storm and see if we can get to the runway at Long Beach. Gear up and flaps up, and switching to autopilot. I'll be using the heading bug to bank the plane so that we will intercept the track on our GPS route. Zooming in a little here on the PFD, you can see that we have a indicated airspeed of 124 knots. That's our climbing indicated airspeed. And we're climbing at a pretty good clip. We're going through 4,000 on our way to 7,000. Normally, I would try to climb over clouds like this or a storm like this, but we're not doing that for this flight. Having reached our target altitude of 7,000 feet, the plane will level off and start to gain in airspeed. So we'll keep an eye on that. We don't want to overspeed the airplane. We're about to intercept our GPS track, so the airplane now is going to make a couple corrections and line up perfectly along that magenta line, which will be our GPS heading on into the approach at Long Beach. This external view gives you a sense of how we're being thrown around. The airplane's really being kicked around. Normally in my flights, it's all about the beautiful scenery and the points of interest that we're flying over, but since we can't see anything outside, most of the views are just simply going to be on the instruments and demonstrating the approach on into Long Beach. So looking at our approach, it appears that Gunny will be the waypoint where we will be intercepting the glide slope, and the altitude is 1,600 feet. So I'm going to go up and set a new target altitude to give the airplane permissions to ascend to 1,600 feet, and then I will click on the vertical navigation, and the GPS will do all of that calculation for us and set a top of descent, and then the plane will automatically descend down to 1,600 feet to intercept that glide slope at Gunny. And now you see the word V path in white there, vertical path, which means that the plane will automatically descend on a vertical path down to 1,600 feet to intercept the glide slope at the Gunny waypoint. So I did a little bit of research on this whole Pineapple Express thing, and apparently it's an atmospheric river that's common to the west coast of the United States and Canada. It's basically a system that initiates in Hawaii, which is a place known for farming and growing pineapples. I guess it's also known for macadamia nuts, but I guess that just didn't have the same kind of ring. But atmospheric rivers are very long conveyors of moisture that can stretch for well over 2,000 miles but are only a couple hundred miles wide, and I guess that's why they call it a river. As you can see here on the NavGraph chart, we are approaching the transition point at mids, and then we'll be entering our approach on down into Long Beach. As you can see on that vertical bar on the right hand side of the PFD, you'll notice that we are now in a descent, and we're going through 4,500 feet, descending on down to 1,600 feet. And the airspeed is coming up a little bit, so I need to be watching that. We're at 171, and that's just about the top of where we want to be. So I'm back off on the throttle and start slowing the airplane down a little bit as we're in this descent. And we're starting our gradual turn now to enter our final approach on into Long Beach. Slowing the airplane down, as you can see on that left-hand vertical bar. Airspeed now is dropping down through 140 knots. And now that we are on our final approach, we can switch out of GPS mode and go to VLOC. So I will first set the heading bug to the direction that we're currently flying, go into heading mode first while I make that switch from on the CDI to VLOC. And when that line turns green, we are now tuned into the 110.30 frequency for the ILS. So we are continuing that descent from 4,000 feet there at mids down to that 1,600 feet there at Gunny. So at this point, the autopilot is keeping us on our track and also on our vertical descent. And all I need to do is keep an eye on that airspeed and manage the airspeed, the landing gear, and the flaps. And we'll soon be intercepting the glide slope. The green triangle right there, when that reaches the vertical line there at 1,600 feet, we will be captured onto the glide path, or excuse me, the glide slope, and that will take us right on down to the runway. Okay, we've been captured on the glide slope and gear down. First notch of flaps. Managing the throttle by increasing and decreasing is necessary. We want to maintain that airspeed of about 105 knots on this last part of our descent. And voila, we have a visual on the runway. And second notch of flaps. Full flaps. And finally, switching off the autopilot. And as you can see, we have a crosswind coming from our right hand side, which is making me drift a little bit off to the left of the center line. But I'll take it. We're on the ground. We are in Long Beach. Well, thanks for flying along with me. I guess we now know what it's like to fly through an atmospheric river. See you next time.